So look, I've put everything else I've been working on aside to do this video, right? Because I, quite frankly, do not like what I've been seeing from certain people. Laci Green has decided to take the time to engage with people on our side of the fence, for whatever reason she has, and the first thing I see from YouTubers I happen to enjoy watching, who with exception for one will remain unnamed, are people casting aspersions on her motives for doing the thing that people on our side have been screaming at the top of their lungs for feminists to do since day fucking one.
Laci, we know that you are only doing this because finally the negative effects of feminism have caught up with you. In your own spheres, in the academic journals you read, they are now doing what they have been doing to everyone else for years. And we also know that the reality of feminism in the world is also catching up with you. For example, these were your channel statistics before this video, and these are your channel statistics after this video.
Sargon, no one knows whether or not that accusation is true except for Laci Green herself. Now, what you've said may actually be true. Laci may be engaging with us because it may appear to her to be the best course of action for her YouTube channel. Or maybe because feminists have been starting to turn on her for being a cis white female. But what difference does it make? How does that change the fact that Laci came around and had an honest discussion with Blair White? It doesn't. How does that change the fact that we can observe Laci taking the time to actually try to understand what we think on gender and why? It doesn't. No one misunderstand me here. I am not saying that it's wrong to be skeptical, or that it's wrong to look at the reality of a situation and come to the conclusion that it is likely for someone to be doing something with some ulterior motive. I personally am not blind to the situation myself. However, when someone presents themselves to you in a way that does not appear to be dishonest, it is your responsibility to take their words or actions at face value because you do not know what's going on in their head. You are not a mind reader. You are free to remain skeptical of them and keep the idea that they are being disingenuous somewhere in your head, and then to take that further, do your own investigation, and find inconsistencies in that person's actions which suggest that this person is not to be trusted. But this is not that. This is conjecture with little evidence, and it gives me no reason to doubt Laci Green's own words.
So I went down the rabbit hole of anti-SJW videos, and I found that some are pretty disrespectful, but that's not all the channels. I've recently found anti-SJW channels that are well-cited and reasoned, you know, make some interesting points. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I agree with that, or I didn't really think of that. And sometimes I disagree, in which case, you know, I still feel it's beneficial for me to listen and consider another perspective. It helps me learn. So I decided to reach out to some. And, you know, I was pleasantly surprised. People have been pretty kind to me. And, you know, I'll be honest, I didn't really expect that. No judgment, no vitriol. I even feel like I have a really good connection with a couple of new friends.
If you are ready to talk to people, we are ready to talk in return. You can ask someone like Ian Miles Chung, who had a similar experience during Gamergate, and this was my opinion then.
So, very interesting things have been occurring recently. Ian Miles Chung has issued a full apology for his behaviour during Gamergate towards gamers. I think that if this was a member of Gamergate apologising to the social justice warriors, they would probably make that person crawl on their belly through the dirt to apologise. Well, I don't think that we should do that. I think that we should accept Ian's apology at face value to enable him to keep his dignity.
My opinion on this has not changed. I still think that if someone offers a heartfelt apology, they should be forgiven any prior trespasses because of the apology. But I have yet to see that from you, Laci. I have yet to see you apologise for calling anyone a misogynist or a racist or whatever. I saw you talking to Sean Head on Twitter about people on Reddit who were not convinced that your turnaround was genuine, and that you were seeing which way the winds were blowing and realigning your sails accordingly. I think that they think this because you haven't apologised.
This essentially boils down to you saying, I don't trust you, and other people don't trust you, but we're willing to reconsider if you jump through a few hoops for us. This is not to say that Laci shouldn't apologize for her previous transgressions, especially if she no longer holds those beliefs. However, there is a large difference between the situation you've created now and the situation with Ian Miles Chung. No one asked him to apologize, and that is part of what made it genuine. And this is my real issue with this, because I don't think that you're bad for doing any of this, Sargon. I see this as being based purely on good intentions. But in asking for Laci to do what you perceive to be the right thing to do, you've turned this into something mechanical. Assuming that Laci gives a public apology in the future, regardless of how heartfelt and honest of an apology she gives, the fact of the current situation will always be that she did what Sargon told her to do. And this is why you don't do things like this. If I were being disingenuous, and someone told me that all I had to do was X in order to be perceived as trustworthy or honorable by a wide group of people, then why wouldn't I just do that? This is what social justice types do. If you really aren't a racist, then you'll give up your rights for minorities. You aren't racist, are you? If your college is really against discrimination, then you'll hire these people we tell you that you need to hire. These are extremes, but real examples of this exact same principle. And even though all you've done is suggest that Laci Green do what actually is the right thing to do, you have created a demand for it. You've set a criteria to Laci Green being perceived as an honest person, instead of just sitting back, observing her actions, and coming to your own conclusion.